Hi cherries, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well and had a nice week, even though the weather was kind of dark. But personally, I believe that we should search for meaning even in the darkest days. If you had a bad and exhausting week where you were questioning whether you should stand up from bed and you did anyways, I want to congratulate you because I know what it feels like. If you didn't feel like doing anything and yet you did so many things, I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. You did great. But I also want you to know that even if you just stayed in bed and did nothing, I'm still so much proud of you because you chose vulnerability rather than heroism. Whatever you did, I'm proud of you because you're working hard and trying to figure out, trying to find out. And that's what today's episode is about. How to find ourselves when we get lost. I'm sure you've all had those days where you're asking yourself, who am I? Why do I exist? What do I live for? What is my purpose? What is my meaning? Days in which you no longer find meaning for your life and for your own existence. Days in which you feel unnecessary or even useless. Days in which you wish you could just disappear and vanish from Earth's face. I know exactly how you feel. I've been there. I've been in that dark and deep hole. I've been there for way too long, feeling like I no longer deserve to live or be happy. One thing I realized throughout the years that really helped me find myself back and fight is that I was putting myself there. No one else did. Yeah, there might have been factors affecting my mental state and the way I was feeling, but at the end of the day, I was the one who chose to select those specific thoughts and feelings and moods. So I was the one who put myself in there, in that dark and deep hole. The good thing is, once you realize that, it becomes easier and easier. Year 2023, September. I was already at the university of my dreams. In the beginning, everything seemed to be perfect and glamorous and glowing and glittery. I was partying every night, drinking, smoking and dancing, staying late at night with people I barely knew, but it somehow felt right. However, this did not continue more than 2 weeks because reality hits. I'm a very attaching person who feels things deeply on a deeper emotional level than an average person. I'm very sensitive and very, very sentimental, and sadly, I was a person who used to care more about other people than himself. Time was passing by, and I was just realizing more and more how much I don't fit in those groups with people I barely knew. And so I left alone. I still remember I used to go to that river just to listen to the tides, but I was also listening to music and crying all by myself. Now that I think about it, it really feels very nostalgic and melancholic, but I remember it wasn't very pleasant at that time. And all that continued for over a month. At that exact timeline, I met someone I thought was special, and it was, but just for me and just for a little while. Someone I used to watch the sunset with, someone who used to tell me how beautiful my eyes were, someone who used to hold my hand gently and look into my eyes while I was drowning in his deeper and deeper. It was someone who I believed would love me for me. But then one day, he told me that all he had for me was sexual tension. That's when I broke. That's when I shattered completely. That's when I lost myself. A month later, I found my closest person at that time, my ex-best friend. We don't hate each other or anything, but we're just not as close as we were anymore. And that is okay. Things change. People change. Time changes. Sometimes people just come into your life to teach you a lesson. And once they see you learn, they just leave. However, I had 2 amazing, full of great and sentimental memories years in which I was able to discover, understand, learn, fight, so I can find myself back. And I did. What helped me save myself and find myself back was writing. Of course, for everyone is different, but that's what helped me. At first, I just started writing my thoughts, my feelings, what I was grateful for, what I have achieved, what I was proud of, what I hated, what was the thing that made me sad. But then it started turning into something much more meaningful. I started writing about my life, my past, my present, and my future. I started processing my childhood traumas. I started exploring my regrets. I started becoming more and more aware of my actions and their meaning. Because God, sometimes I was doing things that even I couldn't understand. I also learned that hating someone deeply is equal to letting them have control over your emotions and your feelings and your actions. And trust me, that is not something you want in your life. And so I did. I just went through all these pages and read and cried, and I realized how much pain I've been through and how much I have suffered. And that was the moment I decided to turn these pages into a book of reminder for all those people who were once down and questioned their life. I wanted them to know that they're not alone. I wanted them to feel heard. I wanted them to know that we're all together in this. And so I did. Months later, after I finished writing my book, I published it. Yeah, I have sold less than 100 copies, but I'm still proud of myself. I'm still proud of who I was and who I've become. And I'm happy that even if one person reads my book, they might feel a little better and might find a little comfort. If you're interested in this book and haven't read it, there will be a link under this video where you can order my book online. if you're from Bulgaria. However, if you're not from Bulgaria, there is an online version of the book where you can just get the PDF, and it's actually even cheaper. So, thank you for listening to me, cherries. I hope you're able to take out something from this episode. And if you like listening to my voice and my stories, I would really appreciate it if you could just subscribe for my channel and leave one like and comment a topic that you're really interested in, so maybe I can do a podcast on it. That's all for now. I will see you all next Saturday when we're having our first guest in our channel, which is very exciting and I can't wait for it. So, yeah, that's it. And remember, if you ever get lost, there's always a way out. There's always a way to find yourself. You just need to fight it. If you're trapped and there's no door, you're looking for the windows. And if there are no windows, you start looking for a secret exit. And if there's no secret exit, you just break the walls and get out. Love you. Bye.